The sunlight filtered through the window, casting golden shadows across the living room floor. The Park household was awfully quiet, a very unusual silence that had bid farewell long ago. However, as they say nothing is permanent, the silence didn't last long either. From the door of one of the rooms emerged a diaper-clad troublemaker, wobbling on her tiny legs. The little noises she made instantly filled the calm air with mischief. "Hey, come back here." Her mother walked out after her, holding a yellow floral dress in her hand. The tiny human stopped for a moment and turned on her wobbly feet. Upon noticing her mother, she grinned, flaunting her lower incisors, and clapped her hands with pure delight. "You need to get dressed, young lady." She placed one hand on her hip and waved the dress in the other one. Her daughter, on the other hand, grinned again, shaking her tiny body with the uncontrollable mischief. She turned away abruptly and instantly pulled by the force of gravity, falling on her butt with a thud. Vine gasped, her arms reaching out as her motherly instinct kicked in, but too late. The tiny queen of nonchalance got on all fours and crawled away from her like a cockroach sneaking around the kitchen. "Hey, no, Eva, you need to get dressed." She let out a sigh, knowing it was another cheese play she didn't sign up for. Nevertheless, she was forced to take part in it. Park Eva, their 11-month-old daughter, was an absolute troublemaker. The initial few months were peaceful. She was like a tiny doll, adorable and easy to carry around, always heavily drunk on milk. It was easy then. Feed her, make her sleep, change her diapers and repeat. A perfectly orchestrated life with a cute daughter. But ever since Eva had discovered that her own limbs could carry her around and that she could teleport herself wherever she pleased, she had been a handful. Now she was usually found in unexpected places, like in kitchen with an open flower packet, half on floor and half on herself. Sometimes in the bathroom, splashing the water in the toilet pot. Disgusting, but Eva was yet to discover that world. And sometimes when the house was awfully quiet, the tiny human was usually found near the vanity, ruining her mother's also expensive makeup. Not her fault, she was born with creativity, even if it was scribbling with an expensive lipstick. One more thing about her was that she hated getting dressed peacefully until she made her mother do a full cardio and she was at it again. "Look, Eva, I have a lot of work to do. Just be a good girl and wear your clothes." She spoke, already breathless just by the thought of the upcoming chase. Eva stopped and looked at her mother over her shoulders. She blabbered, clapping her hands on the floor. I know, your pa has spoiled you so much. How about you do this play with your pa and cut me some slacks?" As Vine lunged forward to grab her, Eva sprinted on her knees. Vine heaved a sigh in defeat, watching her sprinting towards the couch. She stopped near the coffee table and giggled as if she knew she had tricked her mother. "Are you challenging me, tiny butterfly? I'll catch you within a moment." Saying so, she advanced towards her with a new resolve. But as she reached near, Eva snuck behind the couch. Vine missed her by inches and ended up stubbing her toe against the foot of the coffee table. Ouch! Her eyes rolled back as she felt her soul leaving her body due to pain. The dress fell from her hand as she held the stubbed toe and hopped on one foot. The tiny rascal let out a triumph babble, which sounded suspiciously like she was laughing at her. Vine took a few moments to swallow the pain. Once she felt a little better, she squared her shoulders and again went after her. "Eva, come here and wear your clothes." She ignored her reasoning completely and crawled towards around the couch. They went around the couch twice, Eva with her unmatchable stamina and Vine with her barely moving legs. Vine stopped at one spot, watching her crawl around the couch, ready to catch her as she moved past her. As she came from the front, Vine smirked in victory and bent down, but to her utter dismay, Eva escaped from between her legs. Vine watched her sliding under the dining table, still bending her head upside down. "You little clever thing," she whispered in disbelief. She sighed dramatically and crouched beside the dining table. Two tiny brown eyes peeked at her from underneath, followed by a toothy smile. So this is how it's going to be. As she extended her hand towards Eva, she scooted to the opposite side. Don't do this to your mother, she whined. A delightful squeal answered her. Vian stood and walked around the table. By the time she bent down to reach her, she was already on the other side. Vian almost let out a cry in exhaustion. Oh heavens, I wanna be one with the earth. She lay on the floor, taking deep and long breaths. Fine, if you don't want to get dressed, I'll call your pa and let him know that you don't want to go out with him. The mention of her pa had her snapping her head towards her mother. And I'll also ask him not to buy toys for you. When I scream too, I'll just call him. She internally smiled and pretended to get up. Within seconds, Eva crawled out of her hideout and climbed on top of her. She hugged her, her fingers clenching around her shirt. Then be a good girl and get dressed, okay? She slowly raised her head and grinned adorably at her mother, her head bobbing up and down in a yes. That's what I thought. She scooped her in her arms and carried her to the couch. After doling her up in the dress, Vian let her free on her playmat and went to get ready.